What is up, guys? This is Triple. Welcome back to the channel. Now, have you guys ever wondered how fast you can possibly build with a standard controller? I know that I have, and so in today's video I'm going to be trying to basically push the normal remote to its possible limits. Now, by normal remote I mean no add-ons, no control freaks, no paddles, just a standard remote. The only thing to note about my controller is that it's plugged into my Xbox through just a normal cord. And so what that does is just minimize the input lag, but that does not do anything to the physical controller itself. So what I want to show you guys today is the 3 to 4 layer push, the single version, as well as the double version. The double version is much harder, of course, and I can't go full speed at that one. I can do pretty well, but I can't do running. But the first layer, just the single lane basically, I can do that full speed. So with that said, I also have a hand cam, first ever video on the channel with a hand cam, that's kind of cool. So, the first step and the first thing that I did to learn this was, first off, I wasn't even trying to do this really. I mean, I was curious of what I could do and push the limits of a controller too, but at first I just wanted to learn the simple ramp, wall, flat. Now the actual order that I did was flat, wall, ramp. And that worked out pretty well. It was kind of clunky, but I ended up getting it smooth and it's all good now. But by doing that full speed, I realized that I started placing a ramp underneath everything, and so I basically was creating the thing that I'm going to show you today. It was clunky and it wasn't consistent, and now that I've just changed the positioning of my fingers on my remote, I was able to basically get a clean version of the 3 to 4 layer push. So, the only adjustment to your fingers, which if you don't know what I do on my channel and how I play, I am a full believer of not using claw, just using a traditional grip. I'm a very traditional gamer, I don't use any add-ons on my controller. So, by me changing my fingers around, this is kind of different to me. So, the only adjustment that I made to make this a very clean movement, and it wasn't a hard adjustment for me to make at all, is I basically made my middle finger use the RT, the right trigger, and then I used my pointer finger for the RB. I could do it alright with just moving my pointer finger from RB to RT, but it wasn't as consistent and as fluid as what I could do it with just keeping my my fingers on these different buttons. And so you could call it claw kinda, but it's really not. It's definitely not the strict definition of claw grip. So it's really not that hard to adjust to. And especially if you're only going to be using this for like 3 layers high, I mean, it's a quick adjustment in your mind to make. So real quick, make sure that you have Turbo Build on. That's definitely necessary to accomplish this. And also have the Builder Pro layout activated. So do not have Combat Pro. I mean, I have no earthly idea how you could do this on Combat Pro. Good luck. Challenge somebody out there. But use Builder Pro and have Turbo Build on. So the first step to doing this is to figure out how to do the double ramp push. So I'm not talking double ramp side to side, I'm talking basically a tunnel. So the way this works is that you place one ramp down first, then you place a wall, and you're only placing that first wall so that you can get the bottom ramp started, because what the bottom ramp does is it connects to the bottom of your wall. So you will essentially place that bottom ramp first with Turbo Build, and as you just keep moving forward, it's going to naturally build the next layer of ramp that you actually walk on. And so just by going straight and having a good vertical position, you're able to just Turbo Build this double ramp. And just by doing this, you can literally just hold the trigger down, but whenever you get to the other stuff, you're going to actually have to learn how to pulse your trigger to leave room for making the floor and the wall. So like I said, you got to have a good positioning on your reticle to make this possible. As soon as your reticle goes over the ramp that you're standing on, it's going to place that bottom ramp. And then if you walk forward just a little bit to the edge of that newly placed bottom ramp, then it's going to place that new ramp for you to stand on. So you just keep doing this and you will get this down pretty easily. I mean, it's not that hard. The hardest part is reticle placement. But once again, don't move your right thumbstick at all during this. It makes it simple. You don't want to do that at all. You want to basically position your reticle in one stationary place and then just use that by just moving forward, and then you'll be able to build everything in today's video. And of course, the way you should be practicing this is by walking first. Get it down by walking. And even before that, just get down the movement, right? Like, you know, go really ultra slow, taking some breaks in your movement, just seeing how the function works, the building function works. So get that down, and then go ahead and move on to full speed walking. And then once you can do that, go ahead and start running and get that down. And this whole process, it took me about 2.5 hours to learn how to do this. And I was just trying to learn every single mechanic with the building possible so that I knew what I was doing. Now moving on, we have to add the wall. So the way that you do this is immediately after your second ramp places. So in other words, you put the bottom ramp down and you keep moving forward. It's going to place the ramp for you to stand on. As soon as that ramp that you stand on goes down and places, that's whenever you go ahead and place the wall. And the way that you place the wall is not by double pressing the RT, but rather holding it down and letting Turbo build it. So the timing is hard on this to get down, of course, especially for me whenever I was first starting. It was very hard to get the timing down. But once you get it down, it becomes extremely fluid and natural. So it takes some time to practice this. But anyway, you're going to place that wall down. And the thing to watch out for here is that the wall, if you don't wait for that ramp to place, then that wall is going to be placed in front of you to the top of your original ramp that you're standing on. And so you'll get blocked off and you won't be able to keep moving forward with your push. So you don't want that to happen. The biggest tip that I can give you is to focus on those two ramps. Like I said before, as soon as that second ramp for you to stand on goes down, that's when you can place that wall. Because you'll still be moving forward, and by the time the turbo build registers, you're going to be on your new ramp, and therefore it can't build that wall behind you. So that's what you got to watch out for. Now the way to do this is you have to get used to letting go of the LT, the left trigger, so that you can place that wall. So you turbo build, you hold it down for LT, you get those two ramps down. As soon as the second ramp goes down, you let go of LT and you press RT, you hold it down to turbo build, and it builds that wall. You immediately let go, and you once again hold down LT for your next set of ramps. And now once you get this down, and like I said before, go ahead and do the slow version, just walking and all that, and then go ahead and get used to running. And then now to add the floor is where it gets tricky. You have to add two steps. You need to add a jump and an RB button press. So this is two steps in the next step. And it gets really tricky, but this is the better way to do it. If you don't add the jump, then it doesn't give you enough time to place that wall, and it'll get all messed up basically. Your time is going to be ruined, and to me, I was trying to do it without jumping, and I always placed walls in front of me before I could even put the flat down. So the thing is, the ultimate end goal is ramp, jump, flat, wall. That's the order. So you do not want to do wall and then flat, or wall, flat, jump. That's none of that. The order is ramp, jump, flat, wall. And that jump, flat, wall needs to be one after another. Like boom, boom, boom. That's how fast you gotta go. It's just a rhythm that you have to get used to. And like I said before, by putting your middle finger on the RT and keeping your pointer finger on the RB button, that makes it so much easier. You're not having to focus on moving your pointer finger between the triggers. That to me just created a much larger room for error, and you don't want that, of course. So that's why I just think it's easier to put the middle finger on the trigger. Like I said, it feels a little weird at first, but it's honestly not that hard to get used to. And this is coming from a guy that does not use anything but a normal traditional grip on the remote. Now the only real way to incorporate the jump is to do this at full speed running. Whenever you jump, it gives you a bigger window of time to put the wall down, and so you can kind of be a little bit more sloppy, but you'll still get the build out. And so you got to be jumping whenever you're at full speed running, otherwise it's not going to really work out with the jump. So if you're just walking, then you can pretty much just forget the jump and only do the floor and the wall, but you really got to be thinking about when that second ramp is being placed. Like I said before, the most important thing to be thinking in your head is that second ramp placement. So you get the first one down on the bottom of the wall, and then your second ramp goes down that you actually walk on. And like I said before, as soon as that ramp goes down, you jump RB, RT, as soon as it happens. And you got to let go of the LT before you jump, and you just got to make room for that. And I think that's really what it is you can hold the LT and jump, and it won't mess up anything, but if you hold LT and try to press RB, then it's going to mess something up. So I think that's why the jump is more useful and helps this entire process, is that it basically gives me time to let go of LT fully before I hit my RB button. And with that said, that's how you do the single lane 3 to 4 ramp push. So it can be very fluid, it can be very fast, and very effective. Now the other thing that's very useful is the double lane version of this strategy. So this one, I don't think it's physically possible to go full speed with a normal controller, simply because by doing the A button, you take your right thumb off of the right thumbstick, and therefore I'm not able to go side to side with my reticle. If I was able to go side to side, I think I could probably do this full speed, but I can't. With paddles, I think that that could be achievable, probably. I don't really know because I don't have experience with paddles, but I'm thinking if you can map a paddle to your A button, then you'd be able to keep a thumb on that right thumbstick and it would make the movement much easier. But like I said, I'm using a normal controller, I'm not using paddles, and so this is the best way to do it. You can do it pretty much at walking full speed. There's a slight jitter, but if you're only going 3 layers high with this before shooting, no one's going to be able to shoot this down unless they have an RPG. If they have an RPG, just be prepared to, you know, fall down. That's why you should only go 3 high on these pushes. Now, how exactly you should be doing the double lane version of this is taking advantage of the position of your reticle. So the way to build fast on basically any sensitivity, the golden key is to basically make the movement and the position of your reticle as small as it possibly can. This is the way you do editing. This is a simple trick with editing. If you're trying to make a 4-square edit, to where it makes that little like half arch or whatever, you basically want to position your reticle where all of those squares meet and make a little circle movement with your reticle. It's a very small circle, so you're not doing this big circle, because that big circle is going to take a lot longer than that small circle, if that makes sense. So you're taking advantage of that. You want to use the same principle and make your reticle go in the smallest amount of time as possible to basically get this build out as fast as possible. So the way that I do it is I have my initial ramps that I stand on. I go ahead and place 2 walls on those. It depends on where you start, but if you start on the right, you'll go ahead and place the 2 bottom layer ramps as you move to the left, and then once those go out immediately, you'll keep walking forward a little bit as you go towards the right, and keep holding down the LT because you're going to be taking advantage of turbo build here, and you'll be building those 2 layers of ramps that you walk on as you move to the right. Then immediately once that second ramp goes down, you switch to your flats. You go ahead and move to the left again, placing those flats down, and then you move to the right again, placing the walls down. And now in all this, you're always moving forward. There's a slight pause with the flats because if you go too fast, then your flat is going to go above your head, and you don't want that, of course. It's all about that golden positioning with your reticle, basically. So with that said, guys, I hope you did enjoy and learn something in today's video. Hopefully the hand cam was useful, and you guys will be able to take advantage of that whenever you're trying this yourself. And so yeah, with that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.